Good morning, students. Welcome to the English class. And as you all know that we have completed almost 9 units which were prescribed to us for this academic year, that is 2020 and 21. And dear students, we have completed, the 9 units. The first one is The Gentleman of the Jungle, a short story by Yomo Kenetta. And the next one is an interesting poem by William Blake. Deals with under the title The Schoolboy here. And the third one we have here Waiko Muhammad Bashir's humorous story called Varu Manushan, in English, a man. And next one, this work is based on the real incident happened in the northeastern part of India, that is West Bengal. Story of youngest headmaster in the world is Mr. Babar Ali. And the next unit that we have is again a poem which was written by Chinnaswamy, Mudnakulu Chinnaswamy, who belongs to Karnataka, one of the a district called Chamarajanagar. And If I Was a Tree. So this was the name of the poem, and we have studied this. And the sixth one is what we have today are going to study about a play, Watchman of the Lake, by a famous Indian writer in English, R.K. Narayan. Okay, the next one, seventh one is again The Farmer's Wife. This poem deals with the plight of a farmer's wife after the death of her husband, where he commits suicide. Then we have once again the poem by Arun Kolatka. It is an old woman. So one of the shortest and the simplest poem of Arun Kolatka, which gives us the picture of an old woman here working as a guide in a remote place, that is Horseshoe Shrine. Okay. Then at last we had Two Gentlemen of Verona. So this is the story of two youngest boys who were exposed to the hardships of life when they were deserted by some natural or some destruction of war. War played a very bad role in these boys' life as such. Okay, and this story, Two Gentlemen of Verona, I think, so the students of CBSE have studied in their 10th standard. Okay, they feel, I think, it a little bit simple to understand here, because you might be knowing the theme or the central idea of the lesson here. But see, once again, if you listen or read the story here, I think still you will get an elaborative and an expanded version of understanding in you, since you have matured up from a 10th standard now in pre-university college as such. So that is why, see, all these 8 units from your course book have been completed successfully in recording video classes. Okay. So now it is the last unit, that is a play by R.K. Narayan, you have here. And your students, as you know, he is one of the greatest writer in English. In English, I think you might be familiar with this author here. See, it is our duty to read this here, and before we go into the author and the text, I'll just give you the distribution of marks for this unit here is the marks, the allotment of marks, or the distribution of marks this year. It is a play, you know that. Okay, 1 mark question. Then we will be having 4 mark question. And 6 mark question. 1. See, this is the distribution of marks to this unit. Okay, so here 1 plus 4 is 5, isn't it? And then if it is not 4 mark question, surely you are going to get a 6 mark question from this unit compulsorily. Because since our 6 mark question is based on the pattern from our Board of PU Education is 6 mark question. For 6 mark question you will be having choice over here, where 3 questions were framed on 6 mark question. Like, see, we have poetry, prose and plays in our syllabus, that is in the course book here. So, from prose plus poetry and plus play, you will get 3 questions for 6 marks. What? 3 questions for 6 marks. Okay. Then you have a choice. Either you can go for prose, only 1 question where you have 6 marks here, and the limit for this is 200 words. This is the boundary that they have fixed here. It should not exceed more than 200 words here. And another choice is from poetry. So among poetry you can answer, and play, yes, you can also choose a 6 mark question from play. So 1 out of 3 here, 3 questions and choice is there. Okay, choice where you have to attempt. So among 3 questions you have to attempt 1 here. Keep this in memory here. So now coming to the author here. Okay, R.K. Narayan. See here, this author, as we know that he is from Indian literature in English. See, Rasipuram, the full name of R.K. Narayan is, see, Rasipuram Krishna Swami Iyer Narayana Swami is the full name of R.K. Narayan here. But he was commonly known as R.K. Narayan. He was a leading author of early Indian literature in English. What is he? A leading author of early Indian English literature. Remember? What is that? Author of early Indian literature in English. So this is in English. Along with Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao. So these are the famous novelists in Indian literature in English. Along with Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao, one of the famous novelists in Indian writing in English. So, if at all you want to know that who were the leading novelists, the early novelists of English literature in India means, so it is Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao and R.K. Narayan. They stood first until today in early English literature and Indian literature in English. The credit goes to these three novelists, R.K. Narayan, Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao. Okay, they are famous for their novels in early Indian literature in English. Yeah. So that is the contribution of Mr. Narayan in literature. And coming to his time, R.K. Narayan was born on 10th October 1906 in Madras Presidency. Okay, when it was Madras Presidency under British rule, and he was an Indian author whose works of fiction include a series of books about people and their interactions in an imagined town in India, that is in South India, called Malgudi. Yes, imagined South Indian city or a place, South Indian What is this? A city, town, that is Malgudi. Yes. So this is the place where R.K. Narayan has made a plot for the actions the dramatic actions that take place in the works or the novels of R.K. Narayan here. So, you know that Malgudi days. Okay, the famous work of R.K. Narayan, which has made as a movie and also a serial. Both in English also it has came out in the beginning, and it has achieved a good number of views, and even as a work, as a literary work, good number of readership also. So this is the achievement of R.K. Narayan in Indian literature in English. Okay, and now one more novel that I have read about this author is Serpent and the Roe. Is one of the famous novel of R.K. Narayan here. So if you read, so you will come to know how the workmanship or literary idealism that you find in R.K. Narayan here. See, so he was one of these three best authors of Indian literature in English, along with Mulkraj Anand, who was famous for his book called The Untouchables, and the Raja Rao, he was famous for his novel called Serpent and the Roe. Okay, a famous novel which presents the Indian tradition in its scenario. So is Mr. Raja Rao here. So these are the three names that we remember when you take up the Indian novels in English. The famous Indian novelists, the fictioners or fiction writers in English are R.K. Narayan, Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao here. So then, he is one of the three leading figures of early Indian literature in English. Okay, that you see here, he is credited with bringing Indian literature in English to the rest of the world, and is regarded as one of India's greatest English novelists. Narayan rarely wrote plays, and the present one is said to be a dramatized version of his short story, that is The Watchman of the Law. He never wrote many plays in his literary career. So, as you know that he is famous for his novels. But as far as plays are concerned, we never have a big account of R.K. Narayan's contribution in plays or dramas here. And the present play, Watchman of the Lake, is a dramatized version of his short story, The Watchman. So this play is a dramatized version of his play, of his novel, The Watchman of the Lake. The Watchman. The Watchman, that's it. This is the play. A famous novel written by Karnataka. And this novel has been briefed or transformed or dramatized as a play called Watchman of the Lake here. Got it? Listen carefully. Okay. So this is about author R.K. Narayan here. Okay, got it? So children, I think it is enough for us knowing the author here. And coming to the pre-reading activity on this play. Okay. Now, yes. And so, let's see the suggested reading here, so that if you find time to read and understand the other works related with the theme of the Watchman of the Lake here is Muktadara by Rabindranath Tagore, Hans Brinker, Mary Elizabeth Mapps Dose, and you have a Keregahara, an interesting folk-styled poem called as Keregahara in Kannada language, that is by Davanagere Krishna Sharma. Okay, a famous song, I think CBSE students might have read in their Kannada language. Okay, CBSE students. Yes, I think yes, this is prescribed for them as a a text or a poem there. And coming to, because there, see, in poem Keregahara, we see the sacrifice of a lady, a pregnant woman. So, in following a superstitious belief that if she sacrifices her life in the pond or a tank of the village, then they are going to get a rainfall so as to grow the crops in their fields. So due to heavy drought in their place, the villagers, when they asked and got what advice and suggestion from some religious people, it was an advice for the people or the leader of that village, so that if they sacrifice a woman who is pregnant to this village tank, so then they will get enough rainfall as such. So then the whole village planned for this event. Okay, they perform all types of prayers, pujas and all, and it was a big ceremony there, and they called all the heads and the leaders in the village and started giving this lady as a sacrifice for the river goddess there. So, very interesting poem. So you can read it. It is available. Okay, if you try, you will find it. Then coming to Watchman of the Lake. See here, we have to consider the importance of lakes and the importance of one's life. Which is more important here? The life of a man or the conservation of a lake or the preservation of a lake? Which one is more important here? When you take up the life of the watchman or the lake. So think of this, whether it is watchman of the lake is important or it is lake. So who is important here? Either the watchman or the lake here. Yes, here life of a man. A man means single man. And a life of a lake. Only one lake. So which one do you support here? See, we want to sacrifice or leave one here. Which one would you like to leave? So we don't want completely. So we should not have any mark of these particular things. Okay, whether it is watchman or lake. So remove watchman. We don't want life. Okay, of watchman. We don't want it. Okay, let him die. So is it okay? Then can lakes maintain everything in the absence of watchmen? Can lakes become fruitful to the rest of the people even if you sacrifice the life of watchmen here? Yes, of course. It is simple to say that, yes. So, if you save the life of a lake here, so it will give life to the thousands of people here. And if you don't sacrifice your life, Mr. Watchman, here in this situation, where in our watchman of the lake, in our play, if the watchman has not decided to sacrifice his life or to die himself, I think the lake would have created a kind of destruction and created a kind of a thunder, a tempest and a drought, heavy drought which is harmful for all the living things on earth. Not only man here. It could have destroyed people, human beings, domestic animals, wild animals, the natural phenomenon, the natural things that we see around. It may drown all the villages, and there may be a destruction of the houses, whole houses in the kingdom. So that was the destruction, the area that will become victim to the destruction of this natural calamity here. So that is why. So it is we who have to think of which is more useful or right in the action of the play, okay, introduced by a writer or a playwright, a famous novelist called R.K. Narayan here. Okay, and now coming to the pre-reading activity. Yes. Why do you think lakes are drying up? And everybody knows the answer. Today, the present man knows why the lakes are drying up today, not yesterday, not the olden days, today. What could be done to save them? So what are the precautions that we have? Plans that we can frame to save these lakes. And is it possible for the modern man or the present man to preserve or to conserve or at least to save today's lakes, ponds? Yes. Because see, if you take the example of Bangalore students, there were more ponds and tanks, lakes in Bangalore. But where were they? Where are they gone now? So if you count the lakes that we have in the Bangalore today, so it is very less in number, my dear students. See, for example, as I knew, the present Majestic, the bus terminal that we have in Bangalore is nothing but a pond, a lake. And the race course that we have today, it is also one of the lake in Bangalore. And the golf course, this particular sports, golf, area, the stadium is nothing but a lake in Bangalore. See how they have transformed. And if you go to some of the areas today, so they are really in a very bad situation if they get a simple rain. So the houses will be filled with water. See, for example, as I know, some of the places in Bangalore, see, if you go to the Banshankari third stage, where you have Channamana, Achukattu Pradesha, and the Padmanabhanagar, and you have so many places there which are very down, okay, a lower level. And they are all Srinagar, all those, they are all covered with lakes once upon a time. But now, if you go and see these places, so they have came up with new beautiful faces as buildings, apartments, schools, colleges, stadiums, marketing complexes, shopping complexes, parks and roads today. So this is how the man has destroyed and changed the very look and the form and the shape of the lakes in Bangalore. So that is how. So in the name of modernization, in the name of globalization, in the name of development in the science and technology, information technology, today our natural resources are vanishing. They are decreasing. They are transformed, converted into different things in order to fulfill his selfish needs. The man is in is destroying the nature today. So that is why keeping all these things in your mind, my dear students. See, I think if you had a knowledge of these things, nature and it is human beings. War between now, it has started long ago. So now a war between nature and humans. Okay, if you take this war, yes, who is going to survive at the end? Who is more powerful here? Do you think it is human beings? Do you think it is man, since he has discovered, invented so many machines, so many tools, so many arms, ammunitions, nuclear weapons, corrosive and poisonous gases and bombs, atomic and nuclear bombs as such? Do you think he is more powerful than nature here? Do you think man can live, humans can live without nature here? Not at all. Not at all. See, as Newton said, one of the great scientists, you know that, he said that if the bees, what we call honeybees, if they disappear from earth, ಭೂಮಿಯಿಂದ ನಾಶವಾಗುವುದ್ರೆ ಅವು, then there can be only a 4 years of lifespan for man to live on earth. Imagine. A scientist, the great scientist, a Nobel laureate, Isaac Newton said this. It is not possible for man to live on this earth without honeybees, bees. Imagine. So this was said by Isaac Newton. So dear students, it is possible for nature to live without humans here, and still it will lead a very rich life on earth with the absence of mankind. But mankind never live on earth with the absence of nature. So now you decide yourself, who is superior here? Which is more powerful here? Which is more needed here? See, if the beast vanishes from earth, destroyed completely from earth, so it's after 4 years the whole living things on earth are going to vanish from earth, means including humans here. Whatever birds, animals that we have are all going to become extinct with the absence of just bees, my dear students. Bees. Honeybees, we say. So think of the power and the importance of bees here. So that is why, dear students, today we have to understand this. Today there is a need for cooperative lifestyle with nature, my dear students. We have to grow more nature, students. We have to pray for the higher part to, preserve and conserve the natural resources, dear students. See, if once they are become extinct, destroyed completely, really the whole human life is going to suffer. Not only suffer, it is going to be an ultimate death of mankind on earth here. So that is why it is the time for us, the right time for us to understand this truth and go according where man can establish a better understanding between of nature here. If nature is there, then man is going to survive on earth. If the nature is destroyed completely by his ideologies, knowledge, under the name modernization, globalization as such, I think he will be creating his own coffin box or a grave, digging his own grave for the ultimate end of mankind here. So that is why. So I think it is enough for us to deal with. And dear student, it is not the general things that we have talked till now. It is very much necessary for the understanding of the play which is prescribed to us, that is Watchman of the Lake, by a famous novelist called R.K. Narayan. Now I have explained about the good number of themes related to our topic, that is Watchman of the Lake. Yes, these themes are essential for you people to understand what exactly an author or a playwright R.K. Narayan has dealt in this particular play called Watchman of the Lake here. So my dear students, say the distribution of marks. Once again I will sum up today's class here. Note, listen carefully. The distribution of marks for this unit is 1 mark question 1, 4 mark question 1. Or otherwise there will be a 6 mark. Or otherwise you will be having two questions from, for long answer type questions. You will be having 4 mark as well as 6 mark in sometimes. But this year I think you may get only a 6 mark question from Watchman of the Lake and 1 mark question from this unit. And so the question, 6 mark question is framed on the basis of choice system. So there will be 3 questions, each one from prose 1, from poetry 1, from play, that is Watchman of the Lake 1. And you have to write 1 from these 3 questions here, which carry 6 marks, and the limit of words is 200 words, my dear students. Then coming to the author here is a leading author of Indian literature and English, along with Mulk Razanand and Raja Rao here. Then so I think then on the works or the novels have been set in the remote southern part of India, unimagined city or a town called Malgudi. What was that? Malgudi here. So this is the place where it became a plot for the works of R.K. Narayan here. The Malgudi Days is one which has made a movie, a successful movie, and also a serial for the first time in English, where it was ruled by Kannada and Hindi actresses as such. So these are the things that are important. Yes. And this particular play is not exactly a play. Originally it is a novel written by R.K. Narayan under the title The Watchman, and it has been dramatized version of his novel The Watchman, and as a play as under the title of Watchman of the Lake Year. Okay, I think it is time up. Okay, we will close the class, end the class here. Thank you.